Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Radio FreakJam.
Good evening, it's Monday, it's Radio FreakJam, and we're doing something a little bit different this week. So instead of me just sitting here playing songs, I'm pushing the limits of this software and my internet connection, and I'm not bringing you on one guest, I'm not bringing you on two guests, I'm bringing you on three whole guests. One band, all together, here in one place. They're missing one. He couldn't make it. And here are the Divisionists. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
Can
we
you
all?
hear me?
Yep,
Oh,
you've
very
glitched
good.
out a little bit on your
There we
hello.
are. There we are.
Hello.
So we are live on air to YouTube, gentlemen. Welcome to
Hello.
Radio FreakJam.
How are we?
Thank you. There we are.
Hello.
So we're on air to YouTube, gentlemen. Welcome to
Someone
Radio
is watching the
FreakJam.
YouTube channel. Can someone turn that off? Whoever might be watching the YouTube link.
There we are.
Guys, I'm hearing a significant echo.
Air to you.
There we go. I think that's it. Gone. There we go. I think
Aha.
someone had the YouTube channel live. It's good. It's cool. It just means we can't talk because we're talking back over ourselves. So, we've been playing some of the music. The backstory. I know Rob, this person below me here. And Rob drums in the
Hello,
FreakJam
everybody.
band. And when he's not drumming with us or one of the 1,000 other bands that he drums with the Divisionists, these guys. So, how did you all meet?
Good question.
Brendan and I knew each other for years. Brendan.
Well, when I moved to London in 2003, one of the few people I knew was a mutual friend of Robin and myself named Jack. And Jack was managing a band called Inch Blue, and Rob was playing drums in Inch Blue. And I went along to help him out with some guitar techie things and help him out with some recording things, and I got to know Rob and we became friends. And I was in the process of recording a solo record, and I was putting together a band to play the songs that were going to be on the solo record, and that was called Brendan Quinn and the Hypnagogic State. And we did maybe a half dozen gigs, something like that. And then we slowly started to turn into a real band as we started having personnel changes, and Rob and I continued to want to play together. And then at some point, the guitarist that we were working with at the time, Neil King, decided he didn't want to be in an originals band anymore. And Mark and I had become friends through another mutual friend. Basically, we all used to go to the same pub after work, and then Mark and I got to know each other, and we bonded over a mutual love of Japanese noise. And that's kind of how Divisionists came about. It became kind of a real band. Rather than Brendan Quinn and the. And then a few years ago, when Joe moved over here, was right about the time that our bass player Mike said that, you know, he didn't really want to be in an original rock band anymore either. And of course, Joe and I had played together in a different band 23 years ago. The debut record came out, a band called Abu Nai, and we were on a small record label in Australia called Camera Obscura, run by a man named Tony Dale, God rest his soul, who also wrote for a magazine here in Britain called the Ptolemaic Terrascope. So with Joe moving over here and Mike deciding he wanted to do something else, of course, it was the obvious choice because he's a great musician and a singer and a songwriter in his own right and an audio engineer and obsessed with music in exactly the same way the other three of us freaks are. So
Yes, very true.
There we are.
Very much. Very true.
So, Brendan, you know, you're the front man for the band.
Yeah.
And Joe, you are
It's
the bass player.
Bass player.
And how do you find working with Rob as a percussionist? with a bass player? How does this? I'm just trying to get some dirt on Rob, basically.
One-
You can see where this is going.
They all suck. I'm the real genius here. I ain't pulling the strings. No. Rob is terrific, really. I mean, very, very professional and just such a great, positive attitude, and really just wants to try stuff, and rock solid. I mean, it's hard not to notice. He's the secret
Check is
weapon.
in the post.
And as a band,
Yeah, well,
as a band,
I should note here that that's actually higher praise than most of the listeners maybe think it is, because that band I was in with Joe 23 years ago that put out those records and stuff, Joe was the drummer.
yeah,
I was.
Yeah.
But so I mean, Rob is the kind of drummer that I, as a playing bass, would like to play with. Listens, sort of there's back and forth. It isn't just sort of I'm loud and I'm me and whatever. And it's a lot of nuance and everything. So I get to it's fun.
Brendan,
fun to play.
when you're out the front there, you've finished your song, you're talking to the crowd, you're trying to get some feedback from the audience. Is he at the back going?
I only do that on jam nights.
Well, I will tell you. I will tell you a story here. So, as I think I mentioned before, I used to tour with Sterling Roswell band, which Sterling Roswell, aka Roscoe, used to be in Spaceman 3 and The Dark Side, and he's done a bunch of his own stuff as well. In fact, he produced a record by the lead singer of The Seed, Sky Saxon, in the middle 2000s. So he helped us book the studio. And we went into the studio, and in the run-up to the recording, because we only had a few rehearsals, during the rehearsals he was doing exactly that. So we get to the studio, and we're settling in to record, and Roscoe, who was also a drummer, of course, has like a 10-minute conversation with him. Like, we're not allowed in. Like, he takes Rob for a walk around the building, and I don't know what he said to him. But Rob comes in, sits down in the chair, and is perfectly in pocket, restrained, and nuanced. I mean, we tried to credit Roscoe on the record as drum whisperer, but he didn't want the credit. I mean, it was really amazing.
I need to hear that conversation. I do. I need to know what was said in that conversation. So let's play some music. As I said, we've been playing some of your tracks, so I thought we'd start with one that we've already played. This is one I personally like, and I think is very appropriate for our time. This is a track by the Divisionists, We Must Be Careful.
reflects a wounded king upon his throne. Facing shadows, must be careful not to forget what is real. For they say if your heart's mightier than steel, but that doesn't make it easier to feel. So remember what to show and to conceal.
Ah, there we go. We must be careful. We must be, lads, really.
Well,
Yeah,
it's never
good
any fun
sentiment,
until someone
Yeah.
loses an eye.
We shouldn't be saying
Hey.
things like that at the moment now, should we? Let's be honest. We must be careful out there.
That's
Must
true.
be careful out there. So, what's the inspiration? Let's talk a little bit about that track. What's the inspiration on that?
I wish I could say it was something magical and special, but actually, it's based on my inability to remember something, which is that Mark brought in an idea for a song, and it was those chords in that progression, but in 3/4. And we played around with it, we had fun with it, and I said I would take it away and write some lyrics to it, and by the time I got home, I forgot that it was in 3/4. which is waltz time, right?
Yes,
So it's a very different song in waltz time. So I started playing around with the chords, and I remember the chords because I'd written them down, and then sort of that one had actually started with the first line, and I was spending a lot of time on airplanes for my job, and the mundane everyday bit of my life at that point was to wake up super early, to go down to catch a taxi to the airport, and to get on a plane to where I was working in Europe. And I was flying back and forth, once a week, twice a week, but I was there for 3-4 days at a time. And the place that I was working was in Scandinavia. So it started with just a very mundane, in the morning, take a carriage, because I was in a taxi and it said Hackney Carriage on the license. And I was like, to an airport, to a plane. And then I'm going to this place, which is very Scandinavian, where people are very jovial, but there's this kind of dark, there's Sweden, in fact, where I was going on the day I started writing the song. And then there's this sort of dark black metal, church burning kind of underbelly. But that's not the culture. The culture is, on the surface, very open, and people work very hard, and it's very jovial. And so that the first line sort of in the morning, take a carriage to an airport, to a plane, to a country full of people who work 9 to 5 and never show their pain. It just sort of came from this very mundane thing. And then I was thinking about traveling and how I love to travel. And Joe loves to travel as well, I should point out, as does Rob. I'd spent a fair amount of time in countries that weren't so rich as Northern and Western Europe, where there were armed police in the streets, and the difficulty of, because there was an actual chance of a terrorist attack. This doesn't happen very often. I mean, every once in a while there's some rebels in the hills or some underground group that blows up a building, and those sorts of places in the world. And I was thinking that in those places we have to be, as Westerners, I have to feel that I have to be extra careful, because if I get in a fight, I'm the one that's going to prison. I'm the one who's getting arrested, and because I'm the rich Western tourist, and it just sort of grew from that idea. And I like sometimes in songs between verses to use a sense of change in a time, like to create a change in scene or a different reflection on that same idea. And that's kind of how the second and third verses evolved. And a lot of it was just pure and simple wordplay, like getting one bit of a line and playing around with it and seeing how it might work. But the structure of it, the progression, morning, evening, midnight, that was just a really simple songwriting trick that I could use to give me ideas to write lyrics.
Yeah. It's little tricks like that which, can sometimes make a song. You can take that sort of whole
and the song's just right. If the song wrote itself, man.
I used to do a lot of writing, and I used to laugh at people that said that before I was a songwriter. And then some days it would. Some days you just sit there, you pick up a guitar.
Then there's that first song that you're just like, wait, I didn't do any corrections on this. This just kind of came out in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, I don't know how it happened.
Well, it's
weird. It's almost
this
like
wasn't quite that good. This wasn't quite that good. There were a few revisions all along the way, but the meat of the lyrics, the shape of the song, the way it sort of the ideas flow, even if individual words changed, I think it took. I think we rehearsed 2 weeks in a row, and I think I brought it home, and I came back like the next week with the song. I mean, like I said, maybe a couple of small changes in words, but that one wasn't easier than some of them. Some of them are not easy at all.
Yeah. So you released an album, Daybreak, in 2016.
17.
Oh, it's got
2017
on the MP3. I'm just saying.
Don't worry about pressing. So the mixes were done in December of 2016, but the file date would be from 2016. But the album came out on St. Patrick's Day 2017, and that's in part because we had to wait for the vinyl to be pressed.
There you go.
So what you have, Ian, is actually like a rare acetate MP3 from the recording session. So
is it one of the coloured
keep
ones?
that thing in pristine condition, you know. Just
is it the coloured
you know
acetate
those
ones?
MP3
Like
acetates.
the red or
Yes,
the blue
absolutely.
Yeah,
Signed by the
it's
band, even me, and I wasn't in it
proper
yet.
one-sided white label.
one? Wicked. I'm loving that.
Exactly.
So I'm going to play a track from the album.
Not
now.
to be removed from premises.
I'm going to play All Fall Down. Is that a good one to play?
Oh yeah,
That's a great one to play. And I gotta say, shout out to Mark, who isn't here tonight. He wasn't able to come tonight, but I think Mark's guitar solo on this is absolutely a highlight of the record for me. And listen out for the saxophone. Everybody told me I was crazy, but it makes the track.
I do love a good sax. I'll be listening out for that. Here we go then.
The fools,
All
they
Fall
told me I
Down.
was crazy.
You can see them dancing on the winter wind. Needle-nosed angels full of death and sin, guided by a distant faceless hand that answers only to the voice within. So we pray, 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 'cause we all fall down. We all fall down. It's the static on the line in a conversation, the lens that films our every waking hour. It's the tension underlying the situation, resistance underneath the boot of power. So we pray, 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 'cause we all fall down. We all fall down. Omnipresent anonymous Lord, have mercy on the subjects here below. The machine that runs our lives is out of joint, and it's left us with no other place to go. So we pray, 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 'cause we all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down, down, down. Yeah, we all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down, 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 down.
Or you do like your feedback endings, didn't you, chaps? Awesome. I can
Right.
see.
The dream has to recede away from you, you know?
I can see why that saxophone was needed. A full brass section on that would have been absolutely awesome. There's a band, and I can't remember what they're called, and they play down in the New York subways, and it's all that sort of groove on horns. They've got a saxophone, a guy that dances. It's just brilliant. I will find them, look for them, and I'll let you know who they are. Worth checking out.
Yeah.
So, Brendan, part of the reason you are here is because you might be able to give us a song live.
I might be able to. I wouldn't swear to it.
What do you think, lads? Do you think you should?
I reckon.
Oh, I don't think he's leaving here without a song.
Yeah, I think it's important that we
do this.
hear him do something special.
Yeah, I think so. Entertain us a little bit. We do the jam night on a Thursday, so maybe if this goes well, Brendan can join us and come on a Thursday and play as well.
That would be amazing.
Well, all things are possible. All things are possible.
Well, okay, I'm gonna turn us off. It's just gonna be you on your own, Brendan. You won't hear the rest of them, and we'll give all of our all to you, and we'll put you on full screen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brendan of the Divisionists.
Well, if it's okay, I'm going to do 2 songs, actually, and I'm sorry for the side view. It just happens to be where it is possible to put the laptop in this flat and also be able to play. So I'm going to do one from Daybreak, in fact, and then I'm going to do one sneak preview, something we're working on for the new record. So it's unfinished, but you'll get an acoustic version of it. Isolation took me by surprise. I hadn't figured out that you were telling lies. And you always said that I would never make it alone. Never make it alone. Tears in the backseat of a taxi in a land where I don't speak the language and I don't know where to stand. And you always said that I never make it alone. Never make it alone. Tell ourselves that we will someday understand why nothing ever seems to work out like we planned. You ought to know that I will make it alone. I will make it alone.
Oh,
I think that might be a slightly better view there.
What a tune. Love it, man.
So this is, like I said, this is a new one that we're working on for the next album, and yeah. Let's see if I can do this. I've been remembering moments today that I haven't thought of in years. I've been remembering all of the times that I let love be ruled by fear. I can't get these echoes out of my head. I just can't. I'm not claiming to be in the right or that I'm unique in my struggle. I'm not claiming to be any good. I know I've always been trouble. I can't get these ideas out of my head. I just can't. Modern life has its problems, but not all of them are mine. Just one from every column, on every single line. And when I sometimes torture myself in self-recrimination, don't ask me what I've done to my health, to my youth, my reputation. I can't be the person I am in my head. I just can't.
Yeah.
Woo!
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, I'm happy to stop and chat if you guys want, or I can do one more, but it won't be one of ours.
Yeah, let's have a chat. Let's have a chat.
But before you do anything, Rob, do you want your sticks back, Rob?
Yeah, that'd be grand. Just pass them up.
Here you go.
Here we go. Yeah, I got them. There we go. Super.
Very nice.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Thanks. Continue.
You just wanted to. That's all you wanted to do. You were texting about that furiously during the songs, weren't you, Joe? I saw you.
Nothing happened.
I don't know what you're talking about. I cannot work under these conditions.
Well, sorry. I'll get you a better green room next time, my friend.
Yeah.
That was very nice. Well done.
Well done there, Brendan. It's
No, that was quite good. Yes.
A lot of people are saying that they're happy to get up on stage, but sitting in their own living room playing and singing on an acoustic is to the world, to YouTube, is more nerve-wracking. Did you find that?
No. I really don't.
Good. Moving on.
Well, I try to do something musical every day, because if I don't, I go crazy. I mean, really. Like, my friends notice, Joe can tell when I haven't touched a guitar in a week. And he'll say, Brendan, you're kind of being a dick, and you're kind of like not saying, so go home and play your guitar, man. You really need it. People who've known me a long time, they just know this. So it's really easy for me to close my eyes and forget that there's even the computer open, because I just play the acoustic maybe not every day, because sometimes it's electric, and sometimes I'm working on a track, and sometimes I'm doing vocals, but almost every day I pick up that very guitar and I play. The only difference is I'm usually standing.
There you go. You can stand next time. We'll just reposition the laptop. It'll be fine. So, no, sorry, wrong one. That one.
You had to capture my beer drinking. That's it. You're
know,
broadcasting my...
Yeah. I got my beer too.
We've all got beers. We're all on the beer. It's good. But the reason I bring you up so large, Rob, is you're 50 tomorrow.
Yeah. How did that happen, eh?
Well, you obviously were born 50 years ago. That's how it happened.
Well, I mean, that's technically true, but, it still feels like I'm sort of in my mid-20s, so, yeah, that's a thing.
So I had a wicked lockdown birthday, and a lot of the FreakJam lot got together and recorded a big collaboration of Happy Birthday, which was absolutely amazing.
It was super.
And I had a day in, and the wife and kids made it really special, and we had a really good FreakJam that night as well. And people sent me masks of Ainsley Harriott.
Hey,
happy quarantine birthday
and other such stuff. So it was a cool lockdown birthday. Have you got any plans there, Rob?
No, I've got no specific plans. I will speak to all the family. I've got the kids around tomorrow for a couple of days. I've already treated myself to a couple of little things. Well, one I bought, actually Nikki's half bought, which was buy myself a coffee machine, because I haven't had a coffee in forever and I'm actually missing it, so I thought I'd treat myself to a coffee machine.
Nice.
So that arrived today, and
with a bang.
Yeah, the Amazon driver was a complete and utter monkey, but who cares? That's a whole other story, and Amazon are paying up for it, so that's fair enough. But no, so we'll do that. My dad sent me 50 quid as a little check present. Said, buy yourself something nice for this. So I bought myself a 50 quid bottle of whiskey, which I went out and got earlier. And I hope I get more whiskey from other people, because that's one of my favourite things.
Fantastic. So, Rob, you've been listening to Radio FreakJam for pretty much since I started it.
I think I've only missed 2. And yeah.
So I want to give you a song choice. I want to play a song. You can't choose a Divisionist song. Ooh. Something that you've heard on the show that you'd like to hear again.
Blimey. Well, you have a chap that did the jingle,
Pete,
and he's done. Yeah, Pete. I tell you what, I really do like the songs you've played of his. So actually, any of those would be great.
Well, that's Crash Transit, and believe it or not, Crash Transit are on next week doing this.
Oh, then definitely do it.
So we'll definitely play a Crash Transit song. All right, we'll play a Crash Transit song, then we'll come back, we'll have a bit more of a chat, play a couple of more of your songs, and see where it takes us.
Sounds grand.
Yeah. Okay, this is a bit of Crash Transit. I actually had this lined up anyway because I was going to play it at the end, but we'll play it now. This is one of my favourites. This is Whiskey Bar, just for you, Rob.
Hey!
We're gonna be doing this from the top and like trying to figure out what the words of the song are.
There'll be words in this part, like, we'll get there, it's like, and we'll go there and drink in the meantime. Alright, here we go! Sidle up to the bar, I gotta tell you something. Got you thinking about the rent, the bills, the grind, the drills, the work, the boss. Now you're counting out the cost. Your honeybee buzzing about the honey-do list. With the honey-do that, the honey-do this. Got the greenbacks, the Benjamins, the sales tax, you send them in. Deadlines, the breadlines, you're up and down and back again. Thank God there's a whiskey bar on Broadway. Oh my, there's a neon sign inside. Hot damn, there's a cold one coming my way. And we can make it feel alright if we can make it to that whiskey bar tonight. I'm talking about the ball, the chain, the stress, the strain, the cold, the hot. She loves me not. The women are from Venus and the men are from Mars. The honor and the cherish and till death do us part. The in-laws, the old flames, the rugrats, the dating gang. Your ex is the next kiss, you're off and on and back again. Thank God there's a whiskey bar on Broadway. Oh my, there's a neon sign inside. Inside. Hot damn, there's a cold one coming my way. And we can make it feel alright if we can make it to that whiskey bar tonight. Bar on Broadway. Oh my, there's a neon sign inside. Yeah, there's a neon sign inside. Hot damn, there's a cold one coming my way. You make it there, you can make it feel alright. I will make it feel right singing na 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 na. Alright, now we'll sing it just like that. Sing it. Na 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 na. Alright, I need a little round over here. Na 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 na. Alright, that's right. Hey.
Whiskey bar there. Absolutely.
You know that jam went on for 10 more minutes in the studio.
Yeah.
That was great.
They're a great band. Pete Sipper's a wonderful guy, living out in America now. We've got him and Phil coming on next week. They might be meeting up in the garden and doing a bit of live stuff from the back garden for us. That's the hope. That's what we're going to try and work out. They can social distance now and sit 2 meters apart and play guitars. So that's the plan.
That would be brilliant.
So we'll see what happens with that. So, happy birthday. That's my little present to you for tonight. I can't, and I'll buy you a beer when I see you, man. Do you know what I mean? But I thought I'd give you a song at least. So, you've sent me some tracks, guys. Is there any track in particular that you would like me to play of the Divisionists? How about you, Joe? You haven't had a lot to say tonight. Let's give you a
does that mean
choice. What is your
have I got to very quickly send you the file?
Yeah, really. I remember going to see Ween once, and people were yelling, requests, and they were like, "We can't. It's on a DAT. We can't do any requests."
I can send the file over really quickly if you pick one he hasn't got.
well, since the one that was just about to that didn't play before is certainly fine. I mean, since that's right there, then
Which one was that? Remind
The
me
Improv.
Improv.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joe actually plays on that one. Now, the story
Yes,
behind
one
this
that I actually
is
play
that
on.
there's a story behind this one is that it was an improvisation in the studio started by Mark, and we're going to do something with it for the record. But because lockdown came in, we decided we had friends that were feeling kind of bad, and when we listened to this song, it made us feel pretty good. So we posted it, we released it on SoundCloud and posted it on social media for our friends to listen to, in the hopes that it might cheer them up a little bit.
All right, so let's play Improv by the Divisionists. Here you go. There you go. Improv there by the Divisionists. Interesting sound. Joe, are you a fan of Peter Hook?
Yes, but I
Shows.
don't know what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
talking
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it shows in your
about.
basement.
So.
I had this chat with Rob.
Hey, I'm not ashamed of it at all. No. I like Joy Division. I love Joy Division and most of New Order. So, yeah.
I think it's,
can't say that.
that's
I mean,
not an insult.
between
my
McCartney
friend.
and
That's
Peter Hook.
It's a
somewhere,
compliment. I think that's a
No,
bass playing.
I don't believe so. Oh yeah.
So I had this chat with
yeah.
Rob on
Thank
one Monday's show, and you could hear elements of that and Neil Young. Quite a few other things were mentioned, weren't they, Rob?
Oh God, yeah, there's loads. It's funny, actually, just talking about that song. Just while it was playing, I was messaged on the chat with Brendan. That song, that little bit that we did, I can remember playing it so clearly, and remember just looking around the room and everyone was digging it, and it's just a groove, and we were all in that real good headspace. We were all looking around. Mark tends to be the least communicative of the band with his sort of expressions and voice, but musically he's pure communication, and that's what Brendan was meaning earlier. Was about he comes up with so many ideas, and these whole riff things that he comes up with, and they set our minds thinking. And this one really clicked, and we all kind of got into this zone. And just listening back to it, then 100% got goosebumps. It's just, I felt like I was back in the studio. I felt like, that's going to be something amazing when we finally work out what to do with it. Because at the moment, it's just a riff and a few ideas and some no real structure. But we made structure as we went, and that for me is my favourite part of the whole productive process. When you're in a band, is that when you have no idea what's going to happen, but you all kind of get it. And that was it. That bit was it. Completely.
I missed that from a songwriting point of view. My songwriting's now done sort of pretty much here, me and Tony bouncing off of each other.
Yeah.
But, I miss that organic growth that a song can take on, where just one idea can lead on to the bigger picture. It's nice to hear these ideas and where they come from as well. That's quite a privileged insight into what you guys do in your spare time, if that makes sense. Because normally, most musicians wouldn't let that stuff out until they're 100% happy with it. And this is a snapshot of you guys in that moment, and I think it's lovely. I think it's great.
I mean, you can hear it as well. You can hear that opening bit.
I mean, unless you're
Go for it. Sorry, guys.
So I think Joe and I have already ruined our reputation in that regard. Bobby and I's third record was made up entirely out of rehearsal space jams and improvisations, layered and twisted and I think at one point we got 24 stereo mixes playing simultaneously. So
that's how it started.
I go back and forth.
Starts off with just
I think we go back and forth on this because the reality is that when I said we became a real band, what I meant was I'll get back to you in just a second, Joe. But earlier I said that we became a real band. It started off as a Brendan solo project, but it evolved into a real band. And what I mean by that is somewhere along the way we started just doing that. Like someone would have an idea and we'd just play for 20 minutes, and sometimes it would turn into a song. But we started writing collaboratively and just playing for the joy of being in the room together and making the music. And to me, there's something really holy about improvisation. Like it's like the most pure spiritual experience I know. And I know I'm not nearly so good at communicating that as my heroes, like, everyone from Sunrod to Ornette Coleman to KG Hino to Bardo Pond. There are some people that can hit that improvisational place and really carry it across. And when we hit a place that I think is interesting, I think we're more open to releasing it as long as it's not, part of a finished product. Like if it's an album or something, we want it to be more finished. But Joe, you were going to say something.
I mean, oh yeah, well, that just reminded me now. Of course, Abu Nai had at a certain point when our sort of tail end intersected with ease of internet use. We had the jam of the week where we would just kind of take something out of rehearsal and just kind of give it a quick, decent mix and just throw it up for the week and let it go. We did that, I think, like 2 months in a row, which in the internet world then I think was kind of sustained. So I think we should pat ourselves on the back. But, that sort of thing can certainly be fun and give people a real glimpse into like, wow, oh my God, that thing that they're playing now on stage, I heard them kind of start that 6 months ago. Here it is. It's pretty nice. But I think that if you have like the Aaron school of bands where it's so and so and whoever is with him or her at the time, then that's one thing. Then you're getting like this very fully formed vision out of one person, and it holds up that way. But I think when people who are good musicians, who have creativity, etc., there's still that feeling of you're kind of locked in your head, and you can feel the limitations of your where you're going with something. And I think everybody underestimates at times how much just throwing that at another brain can if you're cool with kind of giving it over to the group process, which if you're in a band, I think you kind of got to be down with. Then it becomes this big, huge thing. Maybe not what you put in your head originally, but it takes on dimensions that you never could have predicted.
No, I totally agree. It's the whole group process can make or break something. Because you could have the best guitar riff in the world, but until that bass player puts down his bit over the top of it, it might not be the song that it was going to be. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of those situations. And
exactly, and it's all could almost be a case of I never would have, Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
And I always think personally that the best songs can be taken down to an acoustic guitar and vocal, stripped back bare of everything, and still be played and still contain that element and that something that makes that song good.
100% agree.
100% agree.
Well, whenever I hear
it's 10 o'clock.
A song covered in like a really weird form.
Go on, carry on, Joe. Go on.
Yeah.
Well, that's just that when you hear something like covered in a really odd way, like, wow, I never thought of that song being done in calypso style. That it's like, that song holds up because you can abuse the hell out of it, and it's still like, yep, there it is. Like just today, actually, I forget who it was or how I saw it, but found a link to an album of Kraftwerk covers done by Senor Coconut y Tu Conjuntas, and it's Kraftwerk's Trans-Europe Express done with horns and congas, and they're just doing it. But you can't, and A, they're good, but B, you can't kill a good song. So
this is it.
I've got to say one last thing. Brent, can I just say very quickly, Brent, the one thing you said that matters more than anything else to me is the creative process is a spiritual event. And that particular improv was 100% the spiritual event for me, and that's why it's such a perfect piece.
You see, I'm not going to go into spirituality or souls or destiny or any of that business, but I don't do that personally.
Reverend
Godless communist.
But I know those moments. It doesn't have to be in an improv. It doesn't have to be.
That's right.
It could be in a song that you've played 1,000 times before, but for that point in time, at that moment on stage or in rehearsals, everyone clicks. Everyone is on the same page, and it is a moment that I live for. That is my drug. To get those moments, I miss those moments.
Yeah.
It's just that it could be 30 seconds. It could be a minute. But I get that. I'm not going to say it's spiritual, it's personal for me, but it's I know where you're coming from. You say potato, I say potato.
People don't like it when I make this comparison, but it's kind of like having sex, without having the sex. But it's that kind of wordless I
Yeah.
hear the energy you're doing, and here's my energy. Oh, and look at the energy they're throwing over. There it is.
Yeah, man.
No, agreed.
And so-
I like that.
It's
in
it's
some
kinky
way.
group sex, so
listeners
kinky
now-
that there's no sex.
It's less sticky.
From now on,
Yeah.
whenever
Oh, yeah.
Ian's
No,
listeners
not a
hear
lot of
somebody
cleanup.
speak of being in a band is like being in a group marriage. They'll have a very different picture of what it's like than what it's actually like.
Oh, come on,
Yes.
though.
Yeah.
Come on, though. It is. It is, and we all know it
100%.
is.
100%.
And you have
Yeah,
your
man.
moments where you wish you weren't in that bloody
Absolutely.
marriage, and you have your moments where you love being in that marriage, and that's the way it works.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's another thing too about the whole group
Oh,
process thing,
yes.
and this maybe it's just me, but I remember we used to do a lot of shows with a space rock band called Cul-de-sac, and Glenn Jones these days, who's the lead guy in Cul-de-sac, now he's sort of known as an American fingerstyle guy, but he said something to me once about why at that point in his life he wasn't playing in standard tuning. And what he said was, I've heard everything I know how to play in standard tuning, and I'm bored with it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I never get bored playing with the guys I play with because they always come up with stuff I've never heard before. And I'm like, how do I play that? In the middle of the dynamic, the improv, the way the ideas go back and forth, you're constantly learning from the people you're with. And I find it way more interesting than just sitting and playing by myself to take a song, especially a song. Right? Here I've got an idea for a riff, some chords, and okay, you know what? It's rock and roll, so it's probably the same 3 damn chords, and it's probably a ripoff of Eddie Cochran, or maybe if I'm lucky, it's a ripoff of the Pretty Things, but really it's in that heavy kind of rock. And I bring it to the band, and suddenly it's transformed into something way better than I could ever have thought of.
Yeah.
And I love that.
So do I, man. I do miss that. I do miss that element of being in original bands. I've done that for a very long time, and it's a shame. Listen, guys, we're sort of running a bit late. I'm not too fussed, to be honest, but you've talked about a new album a lot tonight. So do you want to talk a quick bit about that and tell people where they can go and get some of your music, find your music, see your videos and bits and pieces? It's the promotional part, gentlemen. Make the most of it.
Brendan's job.
We got a merch table out in the lobby, and we still got some medium t-shirts.
So we are in fact working on a new record, but thanks to lockdown, it's going to be a while. We need at least 1 or 2 more days tracking as a full band to finish the record. Overdubs and mixing and stuff we can do at home in collaboration with the studio we're working with. Sam and Rachel, by the way, who are in a band called The Flowers. Check them out. They're really talented people.
Yeah.
Super. But so it's going to be a while before the record comes out,
absolutely.
and even then, we're probably going to do the kind of song a month thing. So the record will be released at the end of kind of a song a month thing, and we're probably going to do a 7-inch record in there as well. And it's probably going to be next year before you really hear stuff about it. But you can buy our stuff right now on our Bandcamp, which is divisionists.bandcamp.com. You can also find our record Daybreak and our first EP, We Play Rock Music, on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, all your favorite digital music store extravaganzas.
Yeah, man.
And if you want vinyl, hit up our Bandcamp, and we have vinyl copies of a couple of things, and you can get in touch with us through there. And always happy to talk to people who like our music. So thank you, Ian, for having us on.
You guys are more than welcome. It's been a pleasure chatting. It really is nice to put faces and names and hear a bit about the background of where the music came from and who made it and stuff like that. And what a lovely face Joe has.
Yeah.
You can come back on any time, Joe. You know what I'm
All
saying?
of our artwork
Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
You've just got the perfect face for radio, Joe. That's the point.
There you go. There's your close-up.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Oh,
gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to play out with the first casualty. Again, it's a
yeah.
number I know and I like, so I'm going to play out with that one if that's all right with you. No?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Super
Absolutely.
chip.
In some ways, this is our tribute to Crazy Horse. In some ways, this is definitely our tribute to Crazy Horse.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that, actually. I can see that. Remember, we got the live jam night on Thursday. Brendan, please come and join us one Thursday for that. That runs 8 to 11. If you want to join us, go to the website freakjam.co.uk, Radio Freak Jam, hit the join us button, and it's all there, how to do it and how to sign up, etc. That includes you, Dixon, if you're still listening.
Oh, he's probably fallen asleep by now.
He probably
Don't
has.
forget to click the bell to get notifications.
I don't do all
That's
that.
it, yeah,
I'm not your typical
subscribe,
YouTuber.
click the bell, hit
Uh,
like, slap
Well,
like.
we're going to do it for you.
what
I
else we
hear
got?
that.
Subscribe and like,
There's
comment.
Yeah, leave a comment below
Yeah.
on what you think of Rob's haircut.
comment down below.
What else we got? We got Quiz Night Saturday. That's going to be interesting. We got Darren Wicks doing that. That's from 8 o'clock. The link is in the Freak Jam group. And then we're back next Monday with Crash Transit doing one of these. So I'm looking forward to that as well. It's going to be a good week. Guys, any final messages of wisdom or not wisdom to your loving fans and the people watching?
Don't drink and drive.
We love you and take care of yourselves.
Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to each other. That's my favourite one at the moment, I think. Definitely. Yes! So this is the first casualty. We'll see you later. Thanks for listening. Take care.